Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another episode of The Flow. I am so excited to be your host today. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Katie. Doc is actually in Mexico this week at an event with one of our incredible Ecamm fam members. So just me today, but I brought a really special guest with me. This episode, we are going to be talking entirely about sponsorships, which I know is a huge topic and one that's really important to many of you out here in the creator and in the podcasting space. So I'm really delighted to have Justin Moore with me here today. If you don't know Justin yet, hopefully you will be so incredibly excited to learn more about him on the other side of this episode. He is a sponsorship coach. He is the author of this incredible book, Sponsor Magnet, and the founder of Creator Wizard, a school and community that teaches creators how to find and negotiate their dream brand deals. Along with his wife, April, Justin has been a full-time creator since 2014 and has personally made over $5 million working with brands. He also ran an influencer marketing agency for 7 years and has an incredible insider perspective on how big brands choose who to work with and why they pass on others. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Justin.
Let's go. We're going to have so much fun today, Katie. I don't think anyone, if you're listening, if you're watching, you have no idea what's in store. I'm excited for this.
We let Justin keep all of his sound effects today, and I am so excited for it. I am here for it. Well, I'm thrilled.
Oh my goodness.
I am so thrilled that you're here. And it was so great getting to connect with you because I feel like we've been in all the same spaces and places. And now that we're friends, you're going to be sick of hanging out with us in the Ecamm fam.
100%.
Well, I know I just gave an intro, but I wanted to talk a little bit about your personal journey before we kind of kick into some of the details about sponsorships, because I think it's such a big space. It's such an awesome space, but it's really difficult for people to figure out like exactly how to get started. So before we jump into all the questions, how did you end up in this space? How did you navigate from where you were to where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, I think I could give you the whole origin story of like, how my wife and I first started in 2009 on YouTube. My wife started her first channel. But what I think is actually more interesting is how I got into sponsorships in particular, because as you mentioned, we've been creators for very long, doing lots of deals. But one of the reasons I decided to start educating creators about sponsorship strategy is that, I ran an influencer agency for about 7 years, and this kind of afforded me a very different perspective. I've been a creator in the trenches for many years doing hundreds of deals, but now being kind of behind the scenes where I was in the boardrooms, literally with these big brands and advertisers, and they're saying, hey, April and Justin, we don't want to just pay you 5K, 10K. We want to spend $1 million across 200 people. Who should we work with? What platform should we be on? What's the strategy? And I'm over here being like, you don't know? You were like looking to me for this? And so it was this trial by fire when I started the agency of realizing, especially in 2015 when I started it, that a lot of brands don't have it figured out yet. They don't understand a lot of these platforms. They don't understand how to insert themselves into the cultural narrative if there's some sort of, trend or trending sound or something in a way that is, the audience doesn't cringe, if they try to. And so that was one reason. The second reason, honestly, Katie, was that when I would open up TikTok or when I would look on Twitter or X or something, the only time that I saw people talking about working with brands was when they were talking crap. Basically, they were like, this brand, is trying to screw me. They're trying to lowball me. They're trying to just offer me free stuff instead of paying me. Like, basically telling their audience, go like flood their customer service lines and like demand that they do right by me. And, I imagine if you're an up and coming creator and that's all you see.
Yeah.
That is going to be your perspective on brand partnerships, that wow, like I have to go into the octagon with these brands and like with this suit of armor because they're trying to screw me. And this was like a complete opposite experience, seeing these stories from the hundreds of deals that I've done over the years and thousands through the agency that I ran. Like literally I can count on like one hand the number of deals that like truly went south. And so I just decided like no one is telling the other side of it. No one is telling that like brand partnerships can be awesome if you also are professional. If you're communicative, if you understand this is a human on the other side of this email when you're working with the brand. And so that really is what the whole ethos of my book, Sponsor Magnet, as well as everything that I teach at Creator Wizard.
Yeah, I love it. And I think it's such an important topic because it does feel so, it's probably not the right word, but like taboo in some cases. Like I feel like many creators who are going through this process, like what they really want to ask is like, how much do I charge? How much are you getting paid? Like, how big or important is my platform? Like it feels big and important to me, but I'm looking at, I don't know, maybe I only have 5,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers. Like it's one of those things that not a lot of people are talking about. And if they are talking about it, it feels like it's veiled and kind of hidden behind everything else. And you don't really know like what the details are of it. So I'm just thrilled that you're like out here having these conversations because I do think they're really important. And like, I don't think that there's a single person out there who is like in this space that doesn't want to get paid for their work in some way or another, right? Like, I mean, I do a just for fun podcast, literally a just for fun podcast. But if someone was to come to me and say like, hey, Katie, like, I would love to, sponsor an episode and it was like a really cool product I believed in, there's no way that I would be like, no, I'm like, this is just for fun. I don't want to get any money for this. So I think it's a really good space and it's a really important topic. And I think it's super important for everyone to know that it's okay to have these conversations and to learn this information so that you're ready when these kinds of things, opportunities arise.
Yeah. The real tricky part, I think, about sponsorships in general is that, yes, 100% agree that like being able to learn from others and seeing how other people are navigating it is a big part of it. However, there's a trap there, which is that a lot of people do this where, a brand comes inbound and their first inclination is like, let me go ask my friend who worked with them how much they charged or how they handled it, or like, what do you think I should charge? Even if they haven't worked with it, what do you think I should charge? And one of the biggest mistakes that I think I've seen over the last 5 years educating people is they rely on just bad advice from other creators. Mm-hmm. And they're basically comparing themselves to that person's platforms, that person's business, when in fact, their business is completely different.
Yeah.
In fact, I have an anecdote. One of my longest running coaching clients, his name is Paul Jameson. He has a podcast called The Green Industry Podcast. And he told me this story that like when he first started out, the way he figured his rates was he had a friend who was much larger than him. And he had basically 5% of his audience. And so he asked his friend, how much are you charging? And so he literally said, okay, well, I'm just going to take 5% of what he's charging because I have 5% of the audience. So I guess that seems right. But honestly, this is not to make fun.
No,
like this is
so relatable.
When you have no like benchmark or reference point of like what you're supposed to do like that, why not? Like that's as good as method as any. And so again, one of the reasons I wrote the book is to try to distill all the mistakes that we've made over the last 15 years to try to help people avoid some of those.
Yeah. So I guess my first question then based on this is, how do you get started with figuring out some of these details? So, I mean, other than grabbing a copy of the book, which I absolutely think that everyone should get and make sure that you're following Justin, sign up for his emails and connect with him. But if you're so let's say you're like a smaller creator, maybe you're like upwards of, 5,000 subs or followers or customers or audience size, how do you figure out like how to get started, I guess, in the sponsorship space as far as what is reasonable to charge and what is the value of your audience and what kinds of brands or partners should you be looking for?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the first myth we need to dispel is that you have to wait for brands to reach out to you. I think there's a lot of people who think that like, if I build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Like I just need to get to 5,000 subs or 10,000 subscribers or 10,000, 1,000 average listens on my podcast or downloads or whatever. Because maybe one brand told you that one time and you were like, well, I guess that's what every brand thinks. So I'll just wait until I get there and then, they'll start reaching out. And there's no gatekeeper. There's no person that you need to wait to put their hand on your shoulder to be like, you're now allowed to reach out to a brand. Because I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for. Yeah, this is your permission. No, but for real, like there's a lot of people who have said this to me that like, I don't know, I was waiting. A lot of people have said, I'm just going to wait until I get on the radar of a manager. an agent or a representative that will then advocate on my behalf.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, is like to get on the radar of someone else who handles the business stuff. And we could go down that rabbit hole later. But like, there's a lot of these limiting beliefs that I think people have about when they're allowed to do this. And so the first advice is like, no, now is the right time. Doesn't matter where you're at. What you pitch has to change, though, depending on where you're at in your journey. And so I think we should start here to talk about this, because I think this is a question I get, is like, how many followers, how many subs do I need to get? And so one of the things I talk about in the book is something called the sponsorship continuum. So let's say that you're at the very outset of your journey and you're getting, let's say hundreds of views on average for your YouTube videos, your podcast, whatever. If you were to reach out to a brand, large brand, let's say one of your dream brands, and say, hey, let me talk about you on my podcast, or let me talk about you on my YouTube, they're going to take one look at your platform and be like, it's not really going to move the needle for us. Let's just be real here, right? Because they're operating in they may be spending tens of millions of dollars on marketing campaigns each year. And so to spend $1,000, $2,000 with you is a rounding error. And honestly, it's a rounding error in terms of the KPIs that they're held to internally in terms of how they need to measure. And so it's too small. And so, however, how about we switch up this pitch a little bit? You say, okay, let me actually go and do an audit of this brand's social strategy or their presence on the internet. Do they have a blog? Do they have a newsletter? Do they have a podcast for their brand? Do they have a TikTok? Do they have a YouTube? Is all they're posting on their YouTube their 30-second TV ads? Well, I know as a YouTuber, that's not going to work, right? And so are they posting on the internet? Are they not posting frequently enough? Is the quality not good, right? So there's all these filtering criteria that you can come to them and say, look, love your brand, but I think you could be telling your brand story in a much more compelling way. I would actually love to create some content for you to use on autopilot. I'll create 5 to 10 videos a month. I'll launch the podcast for you. I'll interview people on your marketing team. I'll interview my friends in the industry. It's a turnkey offer, $7,500 a month or whatever. And by the way, go take a look at my podcast, because that serves as my portfolio.
Yeah.
So this is a very different thing of what you're pitching them in the beginning when you're starting out. So now let's say you grow a little bit, okay? You're getting thousands of downloads or thousands of views, okay? Yeah, what you pitch is probably going to be a combination now. You're going to say, hey, I'm going to create some content for you. Maybe I'll do some consulting for you. And yeah, maybe syndicating or amplifying this content on my platform starts becoming kind of meaningful. Then you get to the very end of this sponsorship continuum, you're crushing it, right? You're getting tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. Yeah, the thrust of what you pitch them is, let me talk about you natively on my platform. So I think it's very helpful to orient you of like where you're at and who you should pitch and what.
Yeah. And I think what's super important in there, and that I personally see all the time, is that people will send, whether it's DMs or emails, or, they will connect and reach out specifically to Ecamm. And I'm typically the person that sees almost all of them. And they haven't done any of that research. And so if it's going to be a blind ask, and and the brand does not know who you are, and you're kind of like coming at them out of nowhere, then yeah, I think like having that level of kind of research and understanding where on that continuum you are is hugely important, because no one is going to pay any attention if you've come out of nowhere and you're like, I'm kind of a big deal. I want to, please give me this amount of money for me to talk about you on my platform. Here's my link. If they even give that, the amount you would laugh. Justin wouldn't laugh because he probably sees this all the time, but you would laugh / be horrified at the amount of people that are just failing at this. So when you do it right, it's so noticeable. When people reach out correctly to a brand and understand the brand that they're going after and see the vision and understand their own platform and what they want to get, you're already ahead of 95% of the people out there. It does really make a difference, to pause for a second and really think about your goals, what you think the brand might need or want, where that brand is in that particular place. All of this makes a really big difference in that first impression. Because I kid you not, I hundreds of them, over the years, where I'm like, do you not know who we are as a company? They just come in with this very strange, I can't even call it a pitch. So there's so much opportunity. If I'm seeing that, I can guarantee you that, larger brands than us are seeing all kinds of different things.
This is a really, really important insight, Katie. And as someone who is on the brand side and is on the receiving end of a lot of this these messages, this is the form a lot of this outreach takes. Is it's a very kind of me focused approach. It's like, I have this podcast, I get this many downloads. Here's my demographics.
Yeah.
Here's what I would love you to do. Sponsor my show for the following reasons. Here how much it's going to cost you. Are you interested? Yes or no? And you're over here sitting and thinking, I don't know who this person is.
Yeah.
I don't have any conception of like how I could collaborate with this person.
Yeah.
Also, I don't have random piles of money lying around to just pay people who reach out, right? And so might be interesting at this point in the conversation, maybe to just do kind of a thought exercise of like, let's take your Just for Fun podcast.
Sure.
And let's brainstorm a brand of someone that you say, man, that would be so cool if they sponsored my podcast. And I'm going to share my screen and we're going to kind of go through the process of something that I call the rope pitching method of actually how we design this pitch to something that would be compelling.
Oh my gosh.
So
all
what
right.
do you think?
All right. It's a rainy day, so no one judge me on my inability to brainstorm quickly.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, first of all, give me the pitch. What's the podcast? Like, what's the thrust of the podcast? Like, what do you kind of talk about? Give me a bit of context.
You've got it. So it's called the VHS Club Podcast, and we review movies you've likely already seen from the 80s, 90s, and today, so early 2000s. And it's really entirely tied in nostalgia, and it's all about just kind of reconnecting with those movies that made up our childhood and our adolescence.
Give me a bit of context on, do you have any sort of psychographic intuition? Maybe you've either done this surveys to your audience, or do you have a intuition on like the types of people who are watching beyond the demographics? I'm saying, like, who are the types of people that are watching this show?
I haven't. Again, it's been sort of just this play space for me, so I haven't done any of that work. I mean, from like a gut feeling standpoint, which this is not what all of you should be doing, but from a gut feeling standpoint, it's people that are in the same, generally speaking, within the same like age group as I am. So it's, we're looking at like millennials and Gen X and probably millennials and Gen X. They are like, again, it's all caught up in kind of this level of nostalgia, and the question that we're constantly asking people, and the connection point is in this, what is your favorite movie and why? And the answers to that really kind of define the show and are always sort of surprising. I don't think that fully answers your question, but that's a little bit more context.
No, I mean, I think this is like a really important insight here, is realizing you've got to do this work first.
Yeah.
Is realizing like, okay, I actually need to be maybe surveying my audience. Yeah. Maybe I put a link in the show notes and I do some pre-rolls in my upcoming episodes, which I'm basically saying like, hey, I want to learn more about y'all. Not only to serve you from an episode content strategy perspective, but also, if I do want to work with sponsors, these insights are going to be super useful in having a conversation with a sponsor when they ask this question of like, tell me more about who's in your audience, understanding the composition, because again, your audience represents a pool of prospective customers for their brand. They don't really care about sponsoring you, Katie, or your podcast. Yeah. They really don't care about your podcast at all. They care about finding new customers, right? That's kind of table stakes if you be like, I love your brand, right? Yeah. It's kind of a tough pill to swallow for some people, but this is the reality. This is the whole reason they want to potentially do influencer marketing, is to access new prospective customers, right? And so one thing that I'm thinking of is like from the nostalgia angle, is I don't know if you heard about this. You probably did. So have you heard of the mod retro?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So,
but now I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to walk you through my thought process here. So there's this thing called the mod retro, which is I don't know if you know who Palmer Luckey is, but he has created this thing where you can.
Oh, I do.
It's basically.
I didn't know the name, but I now immediately am seeing. Yeah. So I am aware of this, but I did not know the name of it. Awesome.
Yeah. So this is my first idea of when I think about for your podcast. It's like, hey, this is actually kind of a cool tie-in of like people who are into, nostalgia, old movies, etc., would also potentially be in the same category that would be down to get a mod retro. Does this jive with you?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so let's say that we want to pitch Mod Retro. And so the bad version of this is what? It's, hey, I'm going to reach out. Hey, I've got this podcast. We've got a bunch of people who love retro stuff. Would love to talk about your Mod Retro. Are you free on Thursday at 10 a.m. to talk about that? Or would love to figure out a way to collaborate with this. That's the bad version of this pitch, right?
Yep.
And so what I want to do is I'm gonna do a bit of research on what it seems like the brand cares about right now. So the very first thing that I see is their first edition has sold out. Mm-hmm. What do I want to know? When is the second edition coming out? That's the first thing that I'm thinking about, right? So, okay, it's to say that you can buy it at GameStop. I'm going to click on this link. So you can add it to cart here. So it seems like there's a GameStop exclusive version of it. Ooh. So this is interesting to me. I'm just I'm logging on this all away, right?
Yeah.
So they've got different colors. They have a GameStop exclusive edition. Let's look at their Instagram and their YouTube pages. I'm just kind of curious here what they're talking about. So this was 3 days ago. They're just doing some interesting things here. Doing some unboxing. So it looks like they're doing a collab post on Instagram with some people, which is kind of interesting. So that's maybe interesting too. So that they value that potentially like content that they could, collaborate with other people. It seems like the GameStop thing is like a thing that they're talking about. Okay. So let's just stop here. We could keep going down the research rabbit hole, but like this clearly seems the GameStop exclusive version of the Mod Retro seems to be like an important thing for Mod Retro. Right. Mm-hmm. And so we're gonna design a pitch, which is using something that I call the ROPE method. So R stands for relevant to a campaign that the brand is either currently running or has run in the past. So in this situation, it's the GameStop exclusive version, right?
Yep.
O stands for organic, meaning that you can tie your pitch back to organic work that you've already published that illustrates that your audience has an affinity for their brand or their product. And so what this means in your situation, Katie, is that you're basically going to be linking them an episode of your podcast where you talked about not just, nostalgia movies, but also like, hey, we're doing a fun episode about video games today.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, if you don't have an episode that you can use in your pitch, you make one before you pitch them. So a lot of people think like, oh, but man, this requires me to be a bit more intentional about my content strategy. Yes, that's the point, right? And so you're still serving your listenership, of course, but you know that it's going to serve this double purpose of pitching Mod Retro in a couple weeks. Yep. So that's O. P stands for proof. So you can show how you've helped other brands achieve results. Mm-hmm. And E stands for easy to execute when the brand says that they're interested. So the form that this pitch takes is sentence one. Hey, I saw that, Mod Retro launched this GameStop exclusive edition. That is absolutely amazing. I'm curious, like, are you planning additional campaigns to spread the word about this? Maybe for the, when the second edition comes out, are you going to do a second edition with GameStop? That's super cool. And then you basically say, I also often talk to my audience about, nostalgia-based video games, and then you link the episode that you made, right?
Yep.
I would love to help you spread the word when the second edition drops. Here's what I'm proposing. I would love to do, 5 pre-roll ads. I can do a back catalog dynamic ad insertion over my entire catalog of my podcast. I will create a audiogram of this, especially if it's a video-based podcast. I will do an audiogram and let you use it for paid advertising for 60 days. Happy to share results of how I've worked with XYZ brand, achieved similar results. Are you free on Thursday at 10 a.m. to talk about this? That is the pitch. So you see how different that is than the bad pitch we talked about earlier?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's good for so many different reasons. It shows like so much kind of intention and understanding, not only about like you, but also about the brand. So like I know that if I received a pitch like that, it would at least have me pausing and being like, oh, okay, like this person knows enough about our company that they're asking these kinds of questions, and they see how their content can fit in, which means that it's going to be pretty easy and low lift for me. It's already in line with what I'm probably already working on as a marketing plan. So then it answers that question that that we briefly talked about earlier, but which is like most brands and businesses don't have like the budget sitting around. Like that question or that comment always drives me a little bit crazy when I'm talking with people and I get on a call and we're talking through like a potential idea that came to me. So obviously I did not plan for it. And then they say, "What's your budget for this?" I don't have a budget for this. You came to me with this idea and I've already built out my plan for the year and have like budget assigned. Like, can I move money around? Yeah, absolutely. Like if it makes it, but there's not like, as you said, a bucket of money that's sitting to the side that's like, this is my like influencer budget for when people email me with great ideas. Maybe I should have a budget line item like that, I guess. But no,
you shouldn't. You want to know why? You want to know why you shouldn't? Because it is the creator's job to do the research and understand what you've already allocated the budget for, so that, like what you said, is your only decision becomes, I've already got this budget. Now I just need to decide whether I should allocate some of this existing budget to them, because it's a positioning exercise. You're saying, hey, if you sponsor me, I will help you move the needle on this initiative you've already budgeted for. Yeah. It's so much easier to get allocated those dollars than the slush fund budget.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're singing my song. I love it. Everyone take notes so that you know how to pitch Ecamm going forward. All right. There's some great questions coming through and I want to make sure I don't miss any of them. So my Crafty Adventures asks, how do I change from an affiliate offer to a brand offer? Which I know is a huge question from a lot of different people. So potentially this person is doing really well in kind of the affiliate space and they're making some level of money there, but would like to be, earning more, or have a deeper relationship or partnership with a brand. How do they ask to go beyond affiliate status?
The first step is understanding that any brand worth their salt has multiple strategies that they're employing when they work with collaborators. And so the first one is free stuff, gifting, product seeding. They're going to do this all day long. They're going to see, can we send this out to hundreds of people and see if they'll, we can build goodwill, see if they'll talk about us for free. They're going to do this all day long. And so if you're constantly getting upset that they're doing this, just understand this is reality. They're going to do this from now until the end of time. Yeah. Right. And so that's one thing, is like the gifting strategy. And then you're right. Affiliate strategy is a big part of it. Is like this. Oftentimes this is the first foray that brands have into working with partners. It's like, okay, hey, we were doing the free stuff, but now it would be nice if like we could incentivize people to, actually maybe drive some conversions, drive some sales, drive some signups for Ecamm, et cetera. Yep. And we're going to reward them with a commission if they drive those sales. And who wouldn't want to have an affiliate army out there talking about them? And we only have to, compensate them when they drive an action. Yeah. And then there's that final bucket, which is like, okay, now we're actually compensating partners with a flat amount or hybrid compensation, whatever. And so the first thing is just like understanding that like any brand worth their salt should be doing all three of these things. Yeah. The question from My Crafty Adventure, good to see you, I see them on my live streams all the time. Good to see you, by the way, is understanding that it's your job actually to articulate to the brand why they should pay you a flat amount. Because if all you're saying is like, I think it's fair, I only think it's fair if you pay me now, that's not, they're going to be like, sorry, we've got a line of, 50 other affiliates that are like, okay, accepting this deal. Yeah. So your job is to come to them and say, look, number one, I've loved collaborating with you. In fact, I have a ton of, proof that I've driven lots of affiliate performance over the last 2 years. So right away, if you've already got affiliate performance, that's a great baseline. Yeah. If you're going to come to them and pitch them something else, the brand already knows that you have some credibility versus someone coming in cold off the street, right? Yeah. But the second thing is that critically, you're pitching them something different than all the other affiliates. So what I talk about a lot is like when there is some sort of especially flat compensation component to a partnership, there's rightfully more control that the brand has over the content that's generated. Yeah. When you just have an affiliate relationship, right, Katie, you could appreciate this. You don't have control over what people are saying about Ecamm when they are talking about them in a YouTube video, on a podcast or whatever. However, if you have some sort of campaign where you've got some sort of seasonal promotion or soundbite that you need, that is why you likely will decide to compensate someone in a flat capacity, because you will then be able to dictate and say, hey, I need to see a draft of this. Before this goes live, I need to ensure that you're saying it correctly. You're pronouncing the name of Ecamm properly. Obviously, it's easy if you're Ecamm, but like a lot of brands, oh my God, like you may not, you say you're a real fan of me, but you mispronounce the name. Anyways. And so these are the types of things that you can say that like, look, here's what, when you work with me in this heightened capacity, here's what you can expect, up to 2 rounds of revisions, less than 48-hour turnaround time on draft feedback. I can get you the drafts within this amount of time. We can work together to, ensure that in future iterations of the partnership, we update the messaging based on feedback that we received from the first one. So there's this whole, what I call kind of merit-based value conversation that you can have that's going to differentiate you from all the other affiliates that they're working with. Here's a very quick pivot to make it very, very tactical. Let's say you have an affiliate offer come inbound. You come to them and say, oh yeah, awesome. I'm going to go check out your affiliate program, right? You don't need to make any commitments, but you say, I'm going to go check it out. Just out of curiosity, do your affiliates also grant you the rights to repurpose their content for paid ads? Because that's something that I specialize in. Let me know if you'd like me to send over a few investment options for what that might look like. And so all of a sudden the brand's like, oh, actually, no, we don't get the rights to repurpose content from the affiliates. Yeah. This person actually seems maybe different. Maybe they're focused on UGC or they specialize in this. Let's actually talk to this person. So right away there, you're pivoting. You're like, wow, this person seems different, right?
Yeah. And again, like, I think so much of it just comes down to, and maybe I'm just super jaded, so apologies to everyone, but it comes down to this like level of thoughtfulness. Like, again, even like that conversation is just like, oh, this person like cares deeper about this than like, oh, I'm just going to sign up for your affiliate program and like I'll add that to my list of 9,000 different affiliates that I have. Like this person is like, oh no, like I actually really want to work with you, and like I have some some deeper questions about what this program looks like, what might be successful for you and what might be successful for me. Like that's the beginning of a great relationship as well. So like what a lot of people don't fully appreciate is that so much of it is a relationship game, because I know everyone who approaches me that we end up working with are the people who are saying things like, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I'm in this for the long haul. I love Ecamm. I love everything you guys are doing. I really want to be able to work with you. Like the long-term relationships start with understanding what's mutually beneficial and building kind of that personal side to it.
Katie, one of the things that I really encourage people to do, and this is one of the central themes throughout my book sponsor Magnet, is like, imagine you're the brand. I say this a lot. Let's just like put on the hat. Imagine we're the brand. Obviously you are kind of the chief decision maker for a lot of these. What's that?
No, I'm just laughing. Okay. I've imagined I'm the brand. Go ahead.
Yeah. Imagine you're the brand. And this is what I'm saying to creators, obviously. Yeah. Oftentimes in almost all scenarios, the person that you're interacting with, if you send them some sort of proposal, they have to then go to their boss.
Yeah.
Or if it's an agency, go to their client and be like, this person's asking for money.
Yeah.
And the boss is going to be like, why should we give them this money? Right. And so your job is to imagine that whole conversation going down. Yeah. And so if you can provide air cover or fodder or a good justification to this person that you have not talked to, they don't know who you are at all, then that is the key to unlocking these budgets, which is why the first page in your proposal that I advise people to do when you're interacting with the brand is what I heard, which is the goals. So you have this initial conversation with your brand contact, and it's a straight regurgitation of like, here is exactly what I heard it seems like you're trying to accomplish. Because when that proposal gets shared to 6 other people who don't know who you are, and you're asking for 20K or whatever, they're going to feel way more, they're going to get this warm and fuzzy feeling that like, okay, this person understands what we're trying to accomplish as a brand. They're asking for this money, but yet at the same time, we feel more certainty that they're going to get us closer to that objective. And so I think that this is like people have told me that this specific piece of advice of like aligning what you're pitching to their objectives is an absolute game changer.
Yeah. I can absolutely see that. So yeah, definitely put on that hat and really think that process through. As I do think that will go a really long way. Let's talk a little bit. Let's get into negotiating. So let's say everyone here has now feels capable and confident. They're ready to put together kind of their initial pitch. They've captured attention from the brand that they're super excited to work with, and they get on that call. They're having this conversation. Everything's going really, really well, and then they get into the complicated money talk. How do you negotiate back and forth, or what advice do you have for creators who are newer to this on how to be successful at this, and how to build confidence as well? Because I think a lot of it comes down to not quite feeling sure of yourself in some of these moments.
So the first advice I would give is never negotiate on the call. That's not the point of a call. The point of a call is a discovery mission. It's a fact-finding mission. If you're ever in a situation where a brand is like backed you up into a corner and be like, how much do you charge? Give me the number. Like, come on, just throw out a ballpark. Come on, it's okay. This type of thing. You have to stand firm and say, you know what, this whole call. So first of all, let's back up.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of a call? I always encourage people to get on, especially these kind of discovery calls at the outset of a relationship, because number one, you establish the rapport. Right? Katie, you and I got on a call, right? Like a little inside baseball here, right? Like we got connected, and that was that was the point of our call. Is I just wanted to like meet you. I wanted to understand about you know what was going on in your world. We at the end of that call, we didn't get into this like hard negotiation. It wasn't just like, okay, Justin, how much do you charge or whatever. So of course, some brands will ask that.
I backed
but
you
really
right
the
into
point
a
of the call.
I was like,
yeah, you did, and I
give me
felt
the
super.
numbers.
You felt super intimidated. You were like giving me a noogie and like a headlock. It was like crazy. You were reliving your old VHS fantasies. I don't know it was weird there. I don't know. It was like the Goonies or something. So the point is like, I just asked a bunch of questions. Like that really was the goal of the call. Get to know you, learn more about you. I shared a bit about my business and all that. Right. And so, that absolutely always at the end of the day should be the goal of the calls. But if there ever is a situation where a brand does back you into a corner and does ask you, well, how much do you typically charge for this type of thing? I want everyone watching or listening to just like clip this verbatim and just remember, you could just say this back to a brand. You say, hey, just get out your pencils. Say, hey, thank you so much. This call has been so useful. I would actually love to put together a custom proposal for you. And usually what I do is I put together 3 to 4 packages to give you a sense of how I could bring this partnership to life. Do you have a sense, brand? Do you have a sense, Katie, of what I should set those 3 to 4 tiers at from a budget feasibility perspective? So this is very different than saying, hey, what's your budget,
Hey, what's
Katie?
your budget? Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what's your budget? Because like you just said, number one, you either might not have a budget specifically for this person that reached out to you. Hopefully you asked during that call, you honed in on your objectives, right? So you know that if I'm gonna put a proposal together, if this creator is gonna put a proposal together, it's related to the objective that you outlined, right? And so now you're thinking, okay, if I can give this person a range, if I can be like, okay, 5, 10, 15K or whatever, or 1, 2, 3K or whatever it is, 50, 150K, I don't know, depending on the brand. That gives you a couple things. Number one, wiggle room, right? Because probably you may be negotiating with 10 other creators. Especially if you have like a seasonal campaign or something, right? And you reach out to a bunch of people, you've got this larger budget, you've got the 50K, the 100K, whatever it is, and you have to, what I call, Tetris the budget together, right? Because everyone has different rates, right? And different scopes of work, different deliverables probably. And so by providing someone a range when you're late at night, you're like working on the spreadsheet and trying to figure out the numbers, you have to figure out if you can slot in that 10th creator with some sort of option that they provided you, right? Because you really wanted to work with them. And so this is why I always encourage people to ask about this range instead of the concrete budget, because if you say 10K, what are they going to come back with the proposal at? 10K. And when push comes to shove. And so part of what I talk about when it comes to a sponsorship strategy is that your goal is to have some sort of option for the brand to move forward with you at. And it's not about maximizing the money that you make on every deal. It's about this, what I call a money ball approach to sponsorships. It's like hitting singles, hitting doubles all day long. That is the business that my wife and I have built over the last 15 years. We've not been the people that have had the millions of subscribers or the millions of followers or views or whatever. It's always been the like tens or hundreds of thousands following this type of thing. And yet we've been able to build a really robust sponsorship business by hitting singles and doubles all day long. And it's not super sexy, but like, it's a great life, you know? And so I don't know, this has been my approach that seemed to resonate with people.
Yeah, it definitely, I mean, it resonates with me. I can see how it would resonate with other brands and businesses. The other thing I really want to point out to everyone watching and listening is that what you did, which not a lot of people do, and I think you did really well, is you sent a video over, but it was a very like not crazy long, nice introduction. Like in the video, you showed that you clearly like knew who I was, knew who Ekim was. Like it was a really nice, easy approach because I could see that come through. I could immediately say it's a video. I could be like, okay, great. I can find time to watch that. On the other end of it, I know what your expectations are going into it. That is way easier for someone like me to be able to navigate and looks much more professional and builds rapport a lot better than, hey, I really would just love to get on a call with you. Because a lot of people look at their calendar and go like, oh shoot, like I would love to talk to this person, but I don't really totally know exactly what they're looking for at this point other than like partnership or sponsorship, which is could mean a ton of different things. And it's hard to kind of find the time sometimes on a calendar to figure it out. So that like recording a simple, like clean professional video, and again, almost all of you have Ecamm to do this with really easily, goes a really long way. Like it really, even if the person doesn't watch it, even if they like look at the video quick, like, see it quickly and then reads the transcript next to it, or like still just seeing that is way friendlier and easier kind of to begin those conversations than I think a lot of the back and forth that can get lost in email or in DMs or just in a busy calendar. Like, hey, sometimes we're really well-intentioned, but 2 weeks of back-to-back meetings and you're like, no, I can't do one more. I can't do one more meeting or call.
I think this is, well, first of all, thank you. That's very kind of you. And I do think that I advise people a lot to do these types of asynchronous videos when they're engaging with brands, especially on an initial, if there is a warm connection, that's great. But like even on a cold thing, I have had a lot of success doing cold pitches with video where I'll literally, take out my phone, like this type of thing. I've gotten so good at it now where I'll just like go into my phone. I'll do the 45-second pitch. I'll upload it unlisted to YouTube, for example. Yeah. And that's the link I'll send on email, or, you can use Ecamm, obviously. Yep. And I actually think that this is going to become even more of a critical tactic in the age of AI.
Yeah.
Because, now that everyone basically has access to ChatGPT and like a good enough sounding, email, marketers are going to be flooded with messages from, just slop from people who are just mailing it in and trying to do this mail merge to hundreds of people. Yeah. And so I do think this video approach where you can, again, connect the name to the face is going to be critical.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously it also limits the amount of like weird failure points that can happen. There's nothing more embarrassing than like, dear first name, I'm so excited to talk to you about insert project here, right? Like I've been there. I've like accidentally sent out, an email that I worked super hard on the template and I was going to send it to, 5 or 6 different people. And I've like accidentally left something in there or put the wrong name at the beginning. So I think like video solves a lot of challenges there. It may take a little bit of extra time, but probably not a lot, to be honest. Like it's a great starting point. And these days, so easy, if you have a defined space, sit down, 2 minutes or 3 minutes to record a video and then send it out. It's probably as easy as trying to think through an email to send or a direct message or anything else.
One theme that I hope people pull from this conversation, Katie, is like this tactic, making the asynchronous video, also doing the research on Mod Retro when we were trying to figure out, did this take us an hour? No, this didn't take us an hour. This took us 5 minutes, right? And so I think a lot of people look at pitching, doing outreach as this just, it's like this tall task and it's just like a huge pain in the butt. And I'm so busy. I'm on the content hamster wheel. I don't have time to do this. And so a lot of people call me their kind of tough love mentor, which I'm just like,
I love it.
Like, stop complaining. Like it's way more impactful to do research on 3 to 5 brands versus the effort that you're trying to put into to do this 100 brand outreach, mail merge type thing. And you're being like, pitching doesn't work because I'm only receiving like 1 or 2 responses on 100. You have these terrible emails. I'm like, well, it's not that surprising to me versus the, let me be intentional here and actually get on the radar with something that's thoughtful.
Yeah, I know. I think it's huge, and finding like the right partners as well is hugely important. So yeah, definitely agree.
Katie, can I turn the tables on you actually?
Yeah, turn the tables on me. If I go red in the face, you'll put me under fire. Go ahead.
No, I think it's really important for people to listen to. Like if you had to envision, what does a perfect partner look like to you? You know, if you like, who are the people that you think, let's say you had a campaign that you were about to run, you got 50 grand, you're going to run some sort of summer promotion or holiday campaign or whatever. Who are the people that instantly jump to your mind that like, oh, these are the 5 people that I want to reach out to? And what is it about them that makes you want to engage them again?
Oh my gosh. I mean, usually if I'm thinking through a campaign, I have like a bank of influencers who I have a connection point with. So I'm like people who I have seen speak at events. I, typically probably have connected with them on LinkedIn. They are like active users and consumers of our tool. So like I know that they understand the tool and aren't just like they understand and are using it on a regular basis in whatever capacity makes sense to them. And I know that there are people that are going to just get it. So like the initial conversation with them is going to be like, I have this idea, and they're going to be like, yep, like this is how I can translate that. That will work out really well. And the relationship, I guess the answer is the relationship is there to some level where the initial conversation is really easy. The process is really easy. And I trust that they're going to deliver, the content that I need because I know them well enough. Like I know that they're going to deliver.
All right. So the lesson that I want everyone to hear from what Katie just said is that do not be afraid to start using and being vocal about products and tools that you love. Mm-hmm. If you're already in an affiliate program for a brand, or you're already someone who's been tagging them, you're a known quantity, you're engaging on their live streams, they're engaging when you're posting on LinkedIn, they're engaging, you know who these people are. I think a lot of people are fearful of like, well, if I talk about the brand for free, why would they ever pay me? Oh, yeah. And what I hope the insight here that everyone realizes is that it's so much easier to partner with someone who's already familiar with the brand ethos and values and functionality and key benefits versus educating someone cold who just came in off the street. And like we told earlier, like you've probably got very specific talking points that you needed them to say for this seasonal promotion or whatever it is, right? Yep. Something that you would never say randomly in like a shout out on social media, right?
Yeah, and I'm often trying to find like the right people for the content that I'm creating. Like, so, and, who knows, maybe some of this is Ecamm specific and some of this is not, but it's, Ecamm has a really wide customer base. And so we have like 3 different buckets of customers that we're trying to get in front of. And so I'm looking for specific personalities, right? Like I know that like, maybe I'm trying to find someone who's like incredible in the live streaming space, who's using Ecamm for live streaming often, who has like an audience that understands live. I might also be looking for a person who only ever does, webinars and is never live and like lives and breathes in the Zoom environment. And they might be on the same campaign, but I need for them to be in that world and be well respected in that space and be able to create content according to our standards in that place. So like I have a very clear vision on the projects that I'm working on and planning and building. I know exactly who the kinds of people are that I'm looking for.
You know, it's a critical insight about what you just said, Katie, because I think this is something that a lot of brands experience is that you have different customer personas. Mm-hmm. Let's say someone listening to this or hears this, here's what you just said about the 3 types. Yeah. What I would come and pitch to you, Katie, I'm not me, but if someone else wants to hear this, would be like, hey, let me create a bunch of knowledge-based tutorials for that persona. Yep. The person who just does webinars. Let me create here's all the 15 different things. I use it all the time for webinars, and here's all the different use cases. If they came to you and being like, hey, it's going to be 15 tutorial videos, it's going to be $5,000, I don't know, whatever it is, but you would, turnkey, you'd just be like, oh yeah, we have that persona. That actually sounds great because we need more tutorials like that. This same example is universal. I think a lot of brands, they have 2 to 3 to 5 key personas that they would love to have, whether it's training documentation, customer facing marketing material for these different personas so that they don't have to do it because they don't have a lot of bandwidth internally with their own marketing staff, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm not I don't fit all of those different personas. Like, or, you know, if I'm creating, I'm not creating in the way that like, you know, a Stephanie Garcia is, or a Pat Flynn is, or a Justin Moore is, right? Like there are people who have built up these like huge, you know, huge communities and are recognizable faces in that space. So, but I should like, not to say that if you are a like micro influencer, that does not mean that a brand isn't paying attention to you. I want to give a story actually. So we have this incredible Ecamm fam, who, you know, many, if not all of you are part of, which is incredible. We have a Facebook group and then we have a Discord space. Years back, like when I first joined the team, Marshall Fox, who is now our full-time designer and also does like a ton of video content for us, he was part of the Ecamm fam. He was new to the software and he was just playing around with LUTs, which was a new feature for Ecamm that allowed you basically to give like Instagram type filters on your video. He was just playing with it in the Ecamm group. And his video looked so cool that I said, oh, like I should just talk to that guy. He clearly understands LUTs. I'll see if I can hire him to do a video for our YouTube channel to explain what LUTs are, because he's clearly better at it than I am. So he was just playing around with it publicly in our group, like, and I'm sure he didn't think twice about it. And it went from that project where, you know, then he did this video for us, which he did an incredible job with, you know, because he is a designer, to doing more videos, to helping out with design projects, to now he does literally all of the design for our entire company, right? Like, but that, like, that's the path that, and I'm sure that I'm not alone in like in my role, but like that, like that's the path that almost all of the people that we work with on a long-term basis, you know, have come to, where it's like they've just been playing around or active in our space. And as you said, it doesn't even have to be like a huge thing. Like it was just one, I don't even know if it was a video or if it was like a couple of images he shared, but it wasn't like he spent hours and hours of time, like, you know, creating this thing to like attract our attention. He was just interested in it and clearly was good at it. And it solved a problem for us. And it, you know, started a conversation and we went from there. So and he had no huge public following. He didn't have a YouTube channel at all. But he, you know, he ended up being incredible at video and incredible at design and awesome. So yeah, I don't know. So if you're sitting out there listening and you're thinking, oh, I only have 200 people on my YouTube channel, or, you know, I'm just starting to grow my list, that doesn't mean that you can't work with, you know, with a brand, or that you don't have something to offer, or that you can't activate against some of these strategies. I think that, you know, we're a fairly large brand and, you know, we work with a lot of really small creators on a number of different projects.
You know, another way to reverse engineer what you just described, if you're a micro creator or nano creator listening to this, you know, a great way to figure out a way to do this for brands on a shortcut, like speed run this, literally go to their job boards and see what they need help with.
Yep.
Are they recruiting for a content marketing manager, an influencer marketing manager, a digital strategist?
Yep.
Look at the job description. They're saying, hey, we need support with this. Why not reach out to them and be like, hey, I can actually do this for you on a freelance basis.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the following ways. They're literally telling you what they need help with. They would have never thought like, oh, let's go actually ask our pool of affiliates if anyone wants this job. That's like not the way most brands think. They think, let's make a job posting on our job board, you know? And so if you're the one like going through there and be like, I actually think I could help with this. There's a lot of advantages. They don't have to hire a full-time employee. You have the flexibility. You bring experience, you know, diverse experience on doing other things in your brand and your business. So like, absolutely, this is a way in which you can speed run what you just described.
Yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh, another question come through, and I know we're about to wrap here, but last question. Marianne asks, what do you say to a brand who want to use your content and will say, we'll tag you and that's it? How would you approach the next communication?
The first thing you should not do is slam the door in their face and be like, you got to pay me for that. Because you got to treat this as an early signal of interest, that this brand values your content. They think it's, you know, interesting. They want to repurpose it. But you should absolutely open the door to other ways in which you can serve them beyond just repurposing. I think a lot of people think that like, oh, exposure, they've got 500,000 Instagram followers. If they regram it or repost it and tag me, I'll get all these followers. At least in my experience, that almost never amounts to any sort of meaningful traction. And so a better approach is to say, be upbeat about it. Say, hey, thank you so much. That's awesome to hear that you're interested in repurposing my content. Typically, that's something that requires an investment, but I would love to learn a little bit more about some of your marketing goals. Are you have any sort of campaigns coming up that you're hoping to use this content for? I actually have some ideas of new content that I could create to help, further that initiative as well. I'm happy to grant rights to repurpose this existing content as part of this new relationship. Do you have a couple minutes to chat next week about this? And so, again, I think trying to get this out of the DMs as quickly as possible over to email, send them that asynchronous video like we talked about earlier. You're a person behind this. But again, also at the end of the day, I understand there are some brands who, repurposing content, just get the free content in exchange for the rights. They're going to do that all day long. And if they say, no, we don't compensate, that's fine. You tried, but just realize that there are scenarios in which you can open a larger conversation by being a bit more thoughtful.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I don't think an hour has ever passed by so quickly. Thank you so much for coming on and for sharing your expertise. I want to make sure everyone knows, because you are doing like a lot of incredible stuff. So first up, book. Grab a copy of Sponsor Magnet, the book. I know Paul has dropped into the show notes as well as into the comments where people can grab that. You have an incredible event, which I am like so hopeful that we'll be able to be a part of in the next go round. Congratulations. Tell us about the event.
Thank you. Yeah, the event it's called Sponsor Games, and it's the event that I have always wanted to exist for, a decade plus.
So clever.
Basically, I've been going to pretty much every industry event for creators over the last, decade plus. And like, there would only ever be like maybe one or two talks about sponsorships. And I would always be so frustrated because it was like, this is the primary income source for us. And like, everyone's talking about audience growth. Like, can we have some more talks about sponsorships here? And so for a decade, I just kept hoping someone else would create this event. And so eventually I was just like, well, I guess it's me. And so I created this event where there's no keynotes, there's no workshops, there's no panels. I'm basically taking you through my 8-step sponsorship wheel framework that I talk about in my book, Sponsor Magnet, and you play games to actually learn and master the concept. So the pitch game, the negotiate game, the contract game, and there's actually finalists. So you get advanced to something called the Sponsor Tank, where you pitch a panelist of real brand partnership managers who will roast your pitch basically. So, and there was a grand prize winner, Molly, big shout out to her. She won $5,000 in cash plus a bunch of other amazing prizes. But yeah, it was, this is so cheesy to say, but it was like seriously life-changing for me and everyone who attended.
I mean, I wish we had found out about it a little bit earlier so we had been able to attend, but yeah, even the video on the other side that you shared, it just looks like it was an absolutely incredible event. And again, like I also am someone that goes to a lot of these events, and there is just something about like the act of being able to actually work through it together with other like-minded people that goes it goes so far, because there's nothing worse than getting home from some of these events with like a giant notebook and being like, well, like, what do I do now? Like, where do I even start? What action items do I take? It's such a different feeling than when you've gone to an event like this. I'm sure Molly on the other side is just like, wow, checked all those boxes. Like, the
craziest part is we had a bias to action in everything that we did. And so like after the pitch game, which was game one, literally people were like, okay, I'm going to hit send on this pitch. Cause people were designing pitches and literally people heard back from the brand at the event. Oh, that's awesome. And we were able to workshop, like live basically, and a bunch of people left the event with brand deals. That's like incredible. It was insane. It was crazy. Yeah. Well, it was pretty dope.
Congratulations. That is just downright awesome. I hope everyone checks it out. Paul dropped it in sponsorgames.com. You can get on the wait list and find out about next year's event. And then you have an email list. Where else can people connect with you?
Well, okay, I'm gonna full disclosure here. As any good creator should, you should not provide multiple call to actions like I'm doing right now. Like definitely only one. Yeah. Sponsormagnet.com. That's the only place you should go. But yeah, I do have an email list as well where I actually send you sponsorship opportunities every week for free. So yeah, that one is creatorwizard.com/join.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. I am sure I'll be able to somehow trick you into coming on to more Ecamm events and to be involved more with our community, because I just think what you are sharing with people is just so incredibly valuable. And I honestly learn a ton just even by chatting with you and getting to spend time with you. So I appreciate it personally. Thank you, Justin.
I appreciate you so much, Katie. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And thanks to all of our Ecamm fam. We will be back next week. We're kind of on a kick of talking a little bit about these kinds of topics. So we're going from sponsorship to podcast publicity. So if you're like, hey, I would like to get more out there into the world and I want to be in front of more podcasts, definitely check out next week's episode. And then we are doing a media kit workshop. So if you're like, okay, Justin has sold me, but how the heck do I lay all this stuff out? Make sure that you're subscribed to our Ecamm emails, and we will send you information on how you can sign up for that free workshop so that we can all have media kits, so that when you all reach out to me, you'll do it super professionally and I'll be blown away with everything that you have to say and to share. So thank you so much for joining us. And because Aiden is listening, we need to end our episode first with our sponsors, and then we're going to do our special ending. So here, if you want to check out everything you need to know about the podcast, swing on over to flow.ecamm.com. This episode is recorded live and will release across all the different podcast players and YouTube next Tuesday. And huge thank you to our sponsor for this episode, Capsho, which is just an absolutely incredible tool. It is like a team of AI robots that take all of your human video, incredible content and help you to get it into different formats so it will help your customers and followers and friends and fanatics, whether it's a blog post or an email or social posts, or even YouTube titles and descriptions. It takes all of that great content that you're recording in Ecamm and helps you get it out there in front of the whole world. So capsho.com to learn more about them. All right, Justin, are you ready? We always end our show by saying, Flow Riders out. We'll see you next week.